getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So Muroff in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
Say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the out pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down it towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's just such up. He's touched on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
On to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is enjoying himself watching. And Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, we are back at the Oval. Well, it's not quite an oval. They called it the tricky triangle, but it doesn't matter because we are here at the BSC Summer Season Round 9 at Pocono. I am James Parfitt, going to be joined in the booth by Kenton Sportak. Unfortunately, this week, both of us are sporting a wonderful cold. It's like we've been in a kissing booth together and come out with the snots, unfortunately. But there we go, we'll get through it. 75 laps of action, a stage break at lap 30, 3 sets of tyres, and these guys are going to be hanging on 55% of fuel. It's something to look forward to here this evening, as we've got 20 drivers lined up for what can only be a very, very interesting evening as well. The scores on the doors at the moment, hopefully you can see that as well. It is currently Clint Altman out in front on 301 points. This is compounded by the fact that he won at Chicago last time out. Andrew Williams in second on 287, with Christian Strada in third on 245. Then you've got Dylan Collicott on 241. Noel Jackowitz behind that, with Nick Stottner, Alex Witt, Hunter Carlson, Andrew Burrell, Matthew Norberg, Andrew J. Millen, Joshua Kuhn, Seth Pegg, Armand Brusso, Calvin Ross, Brandon McLaughlin, Trenton Kimmel, Joshua Keefe, Cody Kern, Rob Sizemore, and then the others at the bottom of the list there. Thanks so much for joining us. Jacob, welcome in. Hope you are well and having a fabulous evening there as well. Schedule itself, as you can see, we haven't got many left of this summer season. Pocono is round 9, then we go off to Indianapolis next week, followed by Chicago Speedland in 2 weeks, I think it is, or after that, on the 11th, on the 6th of August, and then on the 13th, we round off the season at Michigan International Speedway. Very, very exciting tracks to come out. At least we finish on 4 oval tracks here as well. Kenton, welcome in, buddy. How are you? Apart from obviously having a cold.
Yeah, it's been a very interesting time. I have a cold, and where I live is currently in the middle of a heat wave. So it's a very odd thing to be dealing with when it's, 35 plus degrees outside and nice and roasty, and I've got a fan blowing on me to try and keep me nice and not sweating everywhere. So it's been very interesting, but yeah, still kicking. That's all that matters. Yeah,
that's all that matters here as well. We are at a 2.5 mile triangle. Surface is asphalt. We got 3 turns. Turn 1, 14 degrees. Turn 2, 8 degrees. And turn 3 is 6 degrees. Tell us about the tricky triangle, Kenton, because it's not straightforward, is it?
No, it's a very, very interesting track. I mean, turn 1, like you said, is 14 degrees of banking. And for those who do not know, all 3 corners are sort of built off of separate racetracks themselves. So you have, turn 1 is based after the Trenton Speedway corners. The tunnel turn, or turn 2, at the 8 degree of banking, is modeled after Indianapolis Speedway, which we will be at next week. And turn 3 is modeled after the Milwaukee Mile. So a very interesting course to deal with. You have gearing down, which typically you don't do a whole lot of in oval racing. They kind of say that the tricky triangle, it's kind of a glorified roval or road oval kind of course, in that you have to be adjusting your gears and things like that. You also have every straightaway is a different length. There's none that are the exact same, which makes it very tricky because you have to sort of plan your passing beforehand. You can definitely pass on straights. You can definitely utilize going into corners. I believe it's turn 3 and turn 1 are a little bit faster. Turn 2 is kind of your trickiest of the corners, it being a little tighter, a little slower, more right angle. Kind of like the square track that we deal with at Indianapolis there.
Very interesting. Celebrate his 50th birthday back in 2021 as well, the 50 years of the Tricky Triangle. Now, they've got a great article on their website, and I do recommend, if you do have 5 minutes, go and read it from the beginning. It runs through each of the decades, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and so on and so forth. There's great information if you want to have a look and go back on that one. What do we think with this circuit? It's very wide, right? They've got loads of room. And it's not pack racing. We know that full on anyway. You've got almost 5 lines of racing that they can go up there as we follow Armand Brusso round turn 1. going down the back stretch. And I'm just thinking on the circuit like this as well, right? They are going to be close together, but they're not going to be a continual pack, are they? They're going to be spread out across the track. How are they going to determine which line going to work for them? Because the banking, although, as we said, going into turn 3, it's like 6 degrees, 8 degrees in 2 and 14 in 1. How are they going to master the different areas of the banking on this course? It's very, very tough.
And that's 100% true. The biggest issue is going to be, like I kind of said, treating it like a roval, like utilizing these corners almost like a road course in a lot of ways, like that high entry, get right down to the apron or the I guess the curb, almost in a sense, and then go all the way back out. So utilizing a lot of the track as best you can. And while it won't be pack racing, like you can see this straightaway that Armand is about to sort of go down. Like it's a fairly long straightaway. Same with the front stretch here that we can see the 85 in. I believe that's our new
Christian Hill
driver, Christian Hill. Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's Christian Hill. This straightaway is very long. Like you can utilize some draft to kind of pull past somebody, and then go into that corner, which is a fairly banked corner, so you can carry a good amount of speed going into turn 1, and then it's turn 2 that you kind of have to slow down. So you kind of have to, again, treat it sort of like a road course, not quite Chicago in that 90 degree in that sense, but a little closer to that kind of thing. So you're more like Charlotte and things like that, where you've got some more gradual kind of cornering. But yeah, that like the biggest thing is just going to be where your tires are at, where you are next to the car beside you, and how well you're like if you're trying to pass going into the corner, or if you want to get a great exit. Because if you want that good exit, you obviously want to have that little more of a straight line through the corner opposed to a completely rounded corner. So you should just carry a little more speed and get back on the throttle a little faster.
Yeah, I think that's good. Mr. Spain, our senior sir, salute. No TJ or Brad. No, they've gone missing. Are they on holiday or something, Mr. Terry? Go and chase them up for me. Clint Altman is the man on pole with Christian Strada in second. The guys are first and third in the championship with Andrew Williams that is sitting in second. In third place, Hunter Carlson in fourth, Brandon McLaughlin in fifth, Nick Stockner sixth, Alex Witt is there in seventh, with Noel Jakowitz in eighth, Andrew Jamelin in ninth, Andrew Burrell in 10th, with Cody Kern and Christian Hill in 11th and 12th, respectively. Then you've got Trenton Kimmel in 13th, Rob Sizemore 14th, Armand Brusso down in 15th, Tom Kuhn in 16th, Darren Collicott in 17th, Andy Radel 18th, Greg Sherman 19th, and Calvin Ross rounds out the 20 there as well. I do want to pick up on the fact of our illustrious leader, Mr. Armand Brusso. He's made it out on every single race this season. Now, we know, obviously, last season he didn't race at all, was he? He was stewarding. Is that a compliment to the league that we've got the big boss man out on track every single week now? He's feeling that he's not having to be in stewarding. The driving standards have improved. The guys are behaving themselves. Is that a compliment to the league? Do we think that he's out there every week?
I think it definitely is. And I mean, a little bit more of a belief, I guess, in things going well and not having to deal with as many issues. I know they did implement a race rundown. At the end of each race, they kind of discuss and figure out what went wrong and what was caused by it. And you do get time penalties or end of lanes, or in some cases race suspensions and stuff like that, just depending on kind of what happened and what was discussed. And from there, I think that's also helped clean it up a little bit. I think a big part of it was, I know we were here a few weeks ago to start this season, and it was a colorful race. We'll just go with that. And then we had a lot of yellow and green flags going back and forth, going all the way through it. So I think it was kind of one of those like, hey, we need to clean this up. Let's wake up a little bit and drive a little smarter and, make it through. And ever since then, it's been a lot less of an issue of yellow flags. So I think it's kind of allowed Brusso to sort of enjoy being a part of this instead of just having to watch it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it, for him? It is all about enjoying what it is that he's obviously trying to put on week in, week out. And I know obviously he's working hard in the background and that as well. It's interesting that there's actually been a race suspension for car number 96. Now, if the numbers are correct in their league, that's Ryan Whitlock. I don't know if that is 100% correct, but let's get this up and running as we're about to go green at the tricky triangle there as well. The race is up and running. Clint Holman takes the whole shot with Andrew Williams, Christian Strider, Hunter Carlson. They've already gone in 3 lanes. Alex Witt pushing the 3rd lane at the bottom. He's trying to make the inside run here as well. And already, Kenton, we've seen what we expected to see. You know, no set line. Everybody's running different lines. And at one point, we were 3 wide.
Yeah, it's a beautifully wide track, which usually allows itself to kind of doing what you need to do. You want to save tires, you've got space to do that. You want to be more aggressive, you definitely have the space to do that. And it's just all going to come down to kind of what you're trying to do at that particular time on that corner. And like we see Christian Schroeder trying to make moves and get up right behind Andrew Williams there with Clint Halterman on his inside. Will it be a little slower going into the corners? Sure. But can you get on the throttle a little faster if you're on the outside? Definitely. So it's kind of a, depending on what you're trying to do at that certain time, you have a great sort of ability to adjust as needed. Slips on in there, and that's smart. I mean, take the draft, prevent Clint Halterman from getting a great draft off of Andrew Williams. And we do know Halterman and Williams are part of the Orange Wheel Racing. So trying to sort of break up the Orange Wheel Racing winnings that have gone on lately, as I think it's been pretty much an Orange Wheel sweep for the last 5 or 6 races, or most of this season at the very least, if not all of it so far. So Strider doing what he needs to, as we see Alex Witt also looking to make some moves.
Doing what he needs to. He's got to try and defend the whole team, and that's not exactly easy here either with the guys from OGR. They've been absolutely flying. You are right. It's been the last 2, 4, 5 races. Kicked off with Norberg at Kansas, and then we had Halterman in Darlington, Halterman at Pocono, Andrew Williams at Charlotte, and Halterman at Auto Club. And then further down, you got Williams, Halterman, Williams, Halterman, Williams. So actually, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 races taken by the OGR on this one. So the Orange Wheel Racing boys taking the last 10 races, last 10 victories, and it looks like Andrew Williams with Christian Strider tucked up right behind him on lap 3 as they're going into turn 2. That left-hander taking it once again. You can see they're all fairly bunched together, 2 wide going on between the 23 and the 121. There's Cody Kernan and Christian Hill. They've been side by side for a little while at the same time as these guys continue to fight on this triangle itself. 75 laps, not very long, Kenton. 55 laps of fuel. How many pit stops, do you reckon?
Well, there's going to definitely be one at stage break, and sorry, 50% fuel, you said?
55.
55. Oh, sorry, you said 55 laps of fuel, and I was like, hold on, wait, what?
No,
50%, 55%. Okay, that makes sense. I was thrown for a minute there. I was like, wait. There'll definitely be one at stage break. I would say it's probably going to be, I don't know if I'll have one beforehand. I know they are still using the same setup in terms of tires and fuel that we used a few weeks ago. Obviously, we had a lot of cautions during that one, so there wasn't much strategy in that. It was kind of, you know, a last 6-lap shootout sort of thing, opposed to an actual strategic race going through on that one. So they're hoping a little bit more. Hill gets a little squirrely up ahead there, but manages to save it. So that's good driving and nice recovery by him there.
Yeah, another score going on. Where do you mean you're going? Where do you mean see you all next time? Mr. Spainhouse Senior, you don't want to listen to me, or you don't want to listen to mine in Kenton's sultry tones on a Tuesday evening. Where are you off to, sir? Sit your butt back down. Go and drink, grab some popcorn and enjoy yourself. It's not my fault your kids aren't in the race, is it? You know what I mean? How rude.
Heard he said the race that I had to miss, I heard he said it sounded like Mary Poppins.
Yes, it did, because we had two English people on the broadcast as well. So, bless him, it was me and Mr. O'Leary, I believe. Actually, I think it
it
was.
was Ewan, I think it was. Yeah, and then we followed up race 2, or the race after that. You were gone, and it was myself and an American. So it went from England to North America very quickly.
Yes, and now we're back to the normal.
Yes. The way it should be.
Yeah, the way it should be. However, for poor old Greg Sherman, I'm not quite sure how he's ended up so far back already here. I wonder if he got a bit of a... Oh no, he jumped to the pits at the green flag, then left the pits again, and is now back out on the racetrack. He's seeing a lot of action. Matt and Phil, they're all trying to weave, they're all following each other, very single file here at the moment. Nick Stockner's poking his nose out. He's looking up the inside of Jamelin. It doesn't really matter about lap 6, does it? It really does matter about where you are in the last lap, though, because you don't want to be doing anything crazy over the early running of the race, and then you end up completely wrecking your race, and you're out of shape before you even got to the end.
Well, we jokingly say it every week, and I mean, it's as much of a joke as it is. It's very serious. Yeah, that was a solid hit by Witt there on that wall. But you can't win on the first lap, but you sure can lose, and it's entirely true. These races can be very, very quickly a bad time if you try to force things too early, as we see the 81 there. Blocked very high on that. He's able to slot back in just ahead of Stockner. But yeah, so it can get sketchy very quickly if you're trying to force things too early, if you don't really allow the opportunities to sort of appear and try and make them appear, then yeah, you can end up, lap down, 2 laps down. You do get a fast repair, but one, you don't want to, have to use it in lap 7 of a 75 lap race, because if something happens in the last 10 laps, well, now you're done. Basically, whatever damage you need to get repaired is having to be done by hand instead of magic. So it's you definitely want to race very smart and just enjoy your race. You've got lots and lots and lots of time to make spaces, and even if you lose a space or two, race isn't over. You've got stage break. You can jump them in the pits. You can jump them on a green flag stop. You could get lucky on them having issues. So that it's always be smart first, be aggressive second.
Yeah, I fully agree. I haven't run any officials this week either. Emil trucks. Well, I was talking about my trucks actually. Where are the trucks this week? Let's go and do some interactive research. The trucks, funny enough, they're at Pocono. So I need to get out and get some running. Pocono. I got given a new VR headset the other day by my brother-in-law, who bought a new one. He said, why don't you use that one for your racing? I put it on for about 5 minutes in the living room and felt like I was going to vomit, so I can't really see myself doing a 75 lap race. You know what I mean? Don't think that's quite going to work out, but there we go. We'll see how we get on when we do some trial and testing in the old VR. Andrew Williams sitting in first place. Shiner tucked up behind him. Holterman, Alex Witt, Hunter Carlson from the FART there, the Fast Angry Racing team. Driving around with Andrew Jamelin, Nick Stockner. Nick's had... It's kind of been somewhat overshadowed this season, hasn't he? By the rise of Holterman, by the rise of Williams, and he struggled a little bit. He hasn't got a win, obviously. I think we spoke to him, blimey. It was a long old time ago, wasn't it? I think for Nick Stockner before his... When did he actually last win, if I remember correctly?
On a win? That I don't know when he last let it win. I know he had a podium, because I think he was the one that took a shot at me about the Oilers, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I can't think.
But it's been a minute.
Yeah, he hasn't won this season. He actually hasn't won
this season. He's been on a podium.
Yeah, he's at a podium. He hasn't won this season. But he's been a little bit overshadowed, hasn't he? He's been caught up in a little bit of things as well that have taken place, and I do feel for Nick, because when you're chasing and trying to keep it up with the guys like Williams, with the guys like Holterman, the boys that are putting on the show at the front, they're carrying the OWR racing name, they're at the front end, and you're not quite getting it together, you're getting yourself caught up in stuff. It all puts pressure on him, and I don't, think that Nick necessarily deserves the pressure, because he's a good racer on his day, but he's just got to, I don't know, tidy up a little bit, maybe, do we think, on some things for Nick Stockner?
I think it's been a little more unlucky in a lot of ways. I know he's had a few incidents. Chicago is not, not a lot of oval racers' favorite space to have to go drive. So the street course is kind of one of those anomalies. He had a rough day there, but a lot of drivers did. But it was like, I mean, the biggest thing, like Hunter Carlson last season, we weren't talking about him being up near the front. So like he's improved massively. Jamalin, he was usually, the 10 to 15 sort of range.
I agree.
And he's, fighting with Stockner. So I don't think it's necessarily Stockner needing to do better as much as so many other guys have just slowly kind of popped up ahead of him. And I think it's a kind of a combination of more he has more people who are racing at that same sort of level, and now it's just becoming more compacted at the top. So you're just getting more and more people that are driving really, really well. I mean, heck, we can talk about, Stockner. Noel Jakowicz, very rarely are we seeing him down in the bottom part of the top 10. Like, usually he's up there fighting beside Witt and Williams. And I mean, Strotter usually was kind of in the mix, but he's this season especially been very involved in that top sort of 5, kind of fighting and sort of pushing his way up there as well. And I think it's just been an interesting season. A lot of people have kind of grown into the oval racing sort of space that they're in and really kind of gotten better overall. And I mean, it's oval racing. It's hard once you kind of, the plateau is very long, I find, with oval racing. Like, you can get good, you can be a very good driver fairly quickly, but to become a great driver, it's very hard. Kind of like sort of like the whole thing. I always joked about it with friends of mine, because one of my buddies is a snowboarder and I'm a skier, and skiing is really easy to be decent at, but to get great is impossible. It's like ridiculously hard, whereas snowboarding is hard to master. Once you got it, kind of like a road racing. It's a lot easier to road race because everything sort of breaks down to the same kind of idea, but to get to the maximum sort of level, it's hard to learn right away, but once you kind of get the idea of how to road race, it applies to every race, whereas oval racing, it's very easy to sort of get into. It's just turn, jump in, drive, turn left, drive fast. Yeah, but to get to that next level is really hard, just because there's so many mini adjustments and small tweaks and little things you have to do that if you don't know how to do them, or if you haven't been shown this little small tweak at Daytona, you're running, a second slower than somebody else who knows this small thing. And it can be as simple as just like your steering ratio, or how you brake, how much brake pressure you're using, what your actual brake bias is. Like, there's just so many small little things that can actually change the entirety of an oval race that I don't think it's necessarily he's doing things wrong. I think it's just people are starting to catch up because they're starting to figure some small stuff out. Whereas you have Williams and Witt and Holterman and Strotter who have kind of figured out that next step as well. And I think it's just one of those kind of things where it's, we'll see going into season 3 coming up fairly shortly as well, and what kind of they are able to do in the off season, or even this 2-week gap that we have between Indianapolis and I think it's Chicago again, not street course, thankfully. The oval.
I don't think I could handle 2 of them.
No, you sure? No. Chicagoland Speedway, yeah, these Chicago streets where we could swap them. I'm sure Armin would be okay with it.
No, I'm feeling very sick around now. I've got a bit of a cold.
Yeah. You're gonna miss that day? Weird.
Yeah, I'm planning in advance, you see. I'm gonna have the flu if that ever happens. Yeah,
exactly.
Again. You know what I mean? Let's hope it doesn't here as well. But Christian Strada, I think you are right. I think the standards have got a lot better, and Christian Strada in that Reese's machine is one of the guys that has got better. You know, we're used to Alex Weird, obviously Dan Michel when he was here as well, running up the front and kind of dominating it. But the likes of Williams has got better, Holtman's got better, Carlson's up there, Stopper's up there, Jamelin, Jakowicz, as you say, down in 8th, and he's no slouch, is Noel. You know, he's up there with the best of them when he's on his day and he's doing what he needs to be doing. And And even the likes of people that we don't necessarily see at the front, you know, Cody Kerr, Andrew Burrell, Brandon McLaughlin, Devon Collicott, Trenton Kimmel, Calvin Ross, you know, they're all making everything better within themselves. That's making the league standards better. And that is why our illustrious leader there in that number 11 Ford is able to be on track and not up in the stewards booth. So I think it's big props to what the BSC have done. You know, it's been a long fight, right? And they've been through the run of the mill. They've had their own little controversies at times. You know, there's driver suspensions and dismissals almost as such. Oh, Alex. Steady there, sunshine. Steady. That is the back of Clint Altman's car. And at the same time there, poor old Clint Altman nearly ended up with an Alex Witt in the back end. But I think they battled through it. You know, they're like that old prize fighter that's gone down in round 11 and he needs a knockout. And he's got up and punched the gazer's lights out, you know. And this is what the BFC have done, I think. And I think they've done a great job with it. And, you know, props goes out to them for all the effort and everything else that they've been fighting for here as well. And they've got a nice set of cars. They've got a nice set of drivers. You know, yeah, don't get me wrong, every league has their ups and downs and the tizzes and, you know, the handbags at dawn and they chuck the dummies out and mummy's running around getting the toys that they've just lobbed out the pram, you know, but at the same time, it's all generally don't last that long. And I think for any league that obviously is looking to do something, that's kind of the way you want to go. You know, get it over and done with, get it said, throw your toys out, get mummy to pick them all back up again, and move on, and jobs are good. And Holtman, however, has decided that he's had enough of sitting where he was sitting. He's going to go and take out the front mantle and start opening up the gaps across to Andrew Williams, Alex Witt, Strada, Carlson, Stottner and Jamelin. 2-second gap going to Noel here. Poor old Noel was kind of in the middle of no man's land. He's got Cody Kern a second back. Burrell and Brandon McLaughlin seem to be working together quite nicely.
Yeah, I mean, the group of drivers we deal with, like, I mean, I chat with them off race day and stuff like that, and they've been kind of growing a little bit, which is nice. And I mean, they're involved in a low that didn't look good out of Collicott there. I think he had himself a little bit of an incident as Burrell makes his way past Cody Kern here. Kind of hit the wall a little harder than I think he anticipated, but he was able to hold on and keep the car pointed forwards. And I mean, the most indicative thing of this group is we're on lap 19 and closest we've had is individual incidents. Like, that's what we're dealing with. It's not, you know, people trying to run each other over, because it's, again, we've talked about this. This is one of our favorite conversations we have almost every week. The first stint really means nothing other than you get a few extra points for the stage break, and that's great. If you're able to get that, fantastic. But it's like trying to force yourself to the front on a 75 lap race on lap 12 does nothing. Like, you're gonna gain, yeah, your 10 extra points or stuff like that, but if that means you've spun out 2 guys and, you know, you've had to use your fast repair already once and there's been 6 caution flags already, you've done pretty much nothing other than make everyone really want to make sure you spin out into a wall and can't continue. So it's one of those things, and these guys are now racing each other for at minimum since we've been here. There's some new guys, like Halterman's fairly new for this season or this year, I believe. Hill and Whitlock both joined in recently as well, but for the most part, these guys have all been around each other. They know how each other prefer to drive. They know, the little nuances, and this is where it gets entertaining for us as broadcasters, and for anyone who's watching. Because now we get to see how they sort of counter or try and counter each other. Because, it's no different than any road race. Like, I mean, you talk F1, look at Max and Lando. And outside of their unfortunate collision in Austria, like, for the most part, it was, okay, Max knows Lando's going to dive bomb him, so he immediately let up and crossed over him, and Lando went off the track and got himself a 5-second race time penalty because he went too far, because he locked up trying to make a corner he couldn't make, and Max saw it happening and kind of got out of the way. So it's like chess. You make a move thinking what your other opponent's going to do, and then you try and counter against that, and sort of you try and planning 2, 3, 4 moves ahead. As Andrew Williams almost lost it going through that corner there, is able to continue. and Witt closing the gap on him just a little bit, as it looks like he's going to try and actually make a move as we head on into turn 1.
Yeah, Alex Witt's alongside there in the Krispy Kreme red liveried machine, going past the hostile bank machine. I do love that livery, you've got to admit. Although it's just a green...
I feel like he's gaining stickers at this point.
Yeah, they are literally just stickers, aren't they? You know what I mean? And nothing else on that car. It's like it needs to get as much advertising revenue as possible there for Andrew Williams. And how much does he make out of that? Absolutely jackal. But it just, I don't know, it's just a green car, and then somebody's just gone round like with a hole punch and just gone boom, 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 with all the stickers on it, like a automatic sticker machine. Look at it. Absolutely covered in it.
I appreciate it. And I saw a couple Dynaco stickers on there. Some other random ones, but...
Yeah, Christian Hill was rocking the Dynaco yellow this week.
I saw that. I was very curious as to why yellow.
I don't know. I can't answer that one. But didn't Nick Stockner have a Dynaco livery on last week?
Yeah, I was going to say he had the
blue,
Dynaco livery. And...
Yeah, then we had we had a Lightning McQueen at one point as well, as Brandon McLaughlin and Cody Kern decide that they're not quite close enough and want to get a little bit closer here. We're coming up to that stage break as well, of course, on lap 30 with three laps. I can't count. 7 laps back at the moment from the stage. Lap time's taking roughly about a minute at a time here. So if we was running straight 100%, these guys would be running for about 75 minutes because they're all doing an absolutely amazing job keeping the cars out. Brandon McLaughlin's running that very high line, isn't he? And somehow he's still managing to make it work.
Yeah, he looks like he's having an absolute fantastic little race for himself. He's just kind of staying smart, not doing anything too crazy, but definitely saving tires as much as he can. You can hear that little bit of a lift. He doesn't get on the throttle, so fairly late into the corner, which is, with that kind of spacing, pretty much what you want to have. Obviously, if you get on the throttle too early in this track, it can definitely spin you out with it being super flat, and these cars have just a little bit of power through them. But yeah, he's driving smart, keeping Cody Kern behind him, and same with Burrell and Collicott, but not losing too much time to Jackowitz, though we see Cody Kern, as I say that, trying to make a move.
He's not going to get him. Watch the speed he gets off this corner. There you go. Bang.
Just gone.
He somehow makes the outside line work, Brandon McLaughlin, and it's very interesting to see, because if he could tidy up what he's doing and the speed that he does carry, as I just give him props for running the outside, he goes and nips down on the inside now as well. Thanks, mate. For that one, can you go back out, please? Because you just made me look like I told a big fat white lie. But he somehow makes it work, doesn't he? And he just carries that speed. I reckon if he could tidy that up, I reckon he's got pace to be able to get up there with the guys at the front. And I think that, it's just the way that he's driving it. Yes, there's a little bit of sliding coming out of each corner, and he's making it known, obviously, that's where he's looking to go. You can see now as he comes out, again, he takes a low line and just completely made us look like we just made up everything. So
that's
nice.
A little bit of kind of keeping Burrell behind him as well, because Burrell looks like he's going to try and make a pass here on Cody Kern, as he is basically right beside him as they make their way into turn 1. He's got to he's playing a little bit of a defensive game, as they actually have gained and caught up to Noel Jackowitz here. Cody Kern taking a very high line through there, sort of kind of teeing off a little bit on what McLaughlin had been doing throughout the majority of this race.
Pretty much every lap, apart from a lap where we actually covered the fact that he was doing it.
Yeah, obviously.
You know what I mean? Why else? He's got it on in the background, didn't he? He's like, liars!
Yeah.
I'm going down the inside, you bunch of liars. You told fibs on us there. Well, there you go. So, as I say that, look, he runs around the middle of the race circuit. He comes up very, very high up. Right up as well, as much as he can go. So fair play on that one. You can see Alex Witt making moves underneath for Christian Strada there. Strada's is he gonna let him go, or is he gonna fight? He's gonna take his normal line, Strada. Alex Witt's got to try and run that underneath as well. And we go on to asphalt circuits, and we talk about Tire, yay. We talk about tire wear and asphalt, concrete, some of the biggest wearers on car tires.
Asphalt is definitely worse on tires in a lot of ways. The biggest issue is actually how they deal with heat. And I was actually looking into this because when we did our race over at I think it was Nashville. It's a concrete track opposed to the asphalt that we're used to seeing, and it's one of the very few, as it looks like Alex Wade actually coming into the pits here. Interesting he's doing it now, because I know
2 laps before the end of stage.
Yeah, very, very interesting, unless he just burned himself out, but okay. We'll see how that plays out for him, but concrete doesn't hold on to heat nearly as much as asphalt does, so the temperature of the air doesn't have as much of an impact on the actual racing surface. So you get a more consistent grip throughout the entirety of the race, opposed to places, with asphalt. And if you're looking at Daytona, like, you can have some pretty aggressive swings, or it can start in the morning being 20 degrees and by the end of the day be 40, and that is going to bring out our first yellow.
Andrew Jamelin, that's going to be stage as well. That will be stage. That will be Clint Altman taking that stage win. And that is not what that man needed.
Actually, that might work in his favor massively.
They're all going to dive in, aren't they?
Yeah, and he's not going to have to, and he doesn't lose anything extra.
Why is it focusing on Alex Witt on the yellow flag?
Very fantastic pit exit.
When it's that I actually want. That was
I think, unfortunately, Hunter just kind of clipped the wall and it bounced him back down, and he hits into the end of Jamal in there.
Yeah. You see how they're very, very close together, don't they? And then I think they do end up making contact, coming out. Yeah, he hits the wall, comes down into him. And unfortunately, the 32 just puts him around there as well. So poor old Jamelin with Hunter Carlson having their own little unfortunate incident there as well. First caution lap at 28. Ain't bad at all, considering we were only 1-2 away from stage. But let's see if we can pick up on anyone. I'm going to have a chat. I'm moving this man, whether he likes it or not. Where are you? You're sat behind the pace car. Okay, we're going to bring him in here as well, as the yellow flag is out. He's just going into the pits. We'll give him a minute to get in his pit box, so I'll shut up. There you go. Right, we're going to pick up your stage 1, because that will be the end of stage as well. Clint Altman, welcome in, buddy.
Hey, how y'all doing?
I'm doing very well, mate. How are you?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm doing good. Just won the wear yourself pit road, but I won't actually be the leader. But yeah, doing good. Car's driving pretty good. Got a little sketchy towards the end with worn tires, but yeah, can't complain too much. Stage win. Picked up some valuable points there, so yeah, doing pretty good.
How long you reckon you're managing to get out of tires, mate? Because that was 28 laps.
Yeah, I was the first part of that. I was able to just kind of ride in the draft there, so I was really just doing a lot of braking early, waiting, and then getting on the gas early, trying to do as little turning as I could, try not to slide the tires as much, and I think Strader was, from my perspective, it looked like he was sliding them a little bit better. So eventually, I think my tires were better than him, so I was able to get by him. And then I think Drew had a moment in like turn 2 or something like that. I was able to get by him. So yeah, it was. I felt like it was a little easier to manage the tires being in traffic there. Had someone to go off of, had the draft. So that's kind of what my game plan was. Like I was just kind of riding there, and then eventually it kind of came back to me. So we'll see how this run goes. Since I won't be starting in second, probably going to do a similar thing. Going to be really close in gas to see if we can. I don't know if anyone can stretch it from here without a caution. But yeah, just gonna have to be nice and easy on them, save them. Still got what 45 laps to go, so got a lot of race left. So yeah, just gonna try to keep it nice and smooth.
What can you do about Alex Witt?
Hopefully pass him.
He's tough, man. He's tough.
Yeah. Probably just he took care of his tires pretty good too. We're all I think top 4 or 5 have really similar pace, so it's just gonna be a dogfight to the end. I think it's just gonna be about who manages the tires best, if anyone can save enough fuel, and we'll have to see if any cautions fall at all. I hope not. It's been a fun race just going green, so yeah.
All right, man. I'll pop you back in down with the boys, but good luck, man. Congratulations on your stage win.
All right, thank you.
Struggling for tyres, round about 28 laps.
I can see that. Yeah, Pocono's not the worst on tires, but it's definitely not the friendliest either. And yeah, like I said, Alex Witt, master stroke either by luck or planned. I'm not really sure. I'm just gonna assume luck, but that definitely gave him an advantage.
Yeah, he had a deliberate pit. That was a deliberate pit stop. I don't think he expected the yellow, which is basically just neutralised the fact that he was on 2-lap-old tyres. It's literally just saying, well, we're on the same now because I've barely done any running whatsoever. You know what I mean? Let's be real. He's come out the pits and he's just trundled up behind the back of the pace car. He's hardly scrubbed a little, barely put a dent in them. So I don't think tyres are going to make a difference. How are they going to be fixed for fuel, whether or not they can fuel save till the end? Or, that's going to be tough as well.
Yeah, I got a strong feeling they're not going to be able to save to the end here. As we're about to get underway, as we see the pit car or this pace car do a weird haul in as we are green, and Alex Witt does get the jump. So he's going to hold on, but it looks like Williams actually is able to get it slightly ahead of Halterman there, as we have some jimmying and jiving in the back.
Yeah,
They're trying to prevent the Reese's Pieces car from getting through.
Yeah, he tried a couple of times, didn't he? He had a couple of little blocks. Oh, somebody punched the wall very hard on the outside there. Was it Anthony Radel or Greg Sherman? No. Oh, Sherman had his own moment, but I think it might have been Radel punching the wall there on the outside, unfortunately for him. Yeah, Stockner had a couple of bites at the Reese's, didn't he? Tried to block him up a couple of times, couldn't quite get it done. Strada still. Do you know what the thing is with this? Unless you're going to bring that car weaving from left to right to left to right all the way across this big wide open race circuit, you're never going to purposely block somebody, unless they're making a move on lane 2 and you're sitting up at where they are now. You're not going to make a block, right? Because they're going to utilize the width of the track and get around you anyway. So you've got to think whether or not it's actually worth blocking them or whether or not it's worth trying to follow and seeing what they're doing differently.
Yeah, it's all I envision is the weaving back and forth, looking like an F1 race trying to get going after a safety car, and you see all the cars just weaving back and forth constantly, try to get some heat into the tires. But does look like Stockner is going to try and make a move up on the inside of Strada here. Not sure if it looks like Christian was able to kind of fight that off. It is very hard to pass on the inside just because you have to slow down so much, especially going into turn 2. That it can create so many problems. In reality, the best spot to try and pass underneath is probably actually turn 3, maybe a little to turn 1, but turn 3 just because it's your longest overall corner. So you actually can carry more speed through it, whereas turn 2, you have to slow down so much and I don't know who of our listeners today actually know what Indianapolis looks like, but it's a square. Like, you've 90-degree almost turns there, so you have to slow down quite a bit to actually make that turn properly, going into that little straightaway. So there's not even a lot of space to try and really hold if you do make the pass, as we see Andrew Williams up on the inside and basically negating everything I just said. So, cool. Thanks, Andrew. Thanks, Andrew. Rude.
You lie. There you go. Jobs are good and done and dusted as well. Hey, I did that with Brandon McLaughlin, made me look like a complete and utter liar earlier on as well. But I think that's the thing with 34 laps under their belt. You know, they've done a lot of green running now. They should technically know what their line is. They should technically know what works for them, what doesn't work for them, how they're going to deal with the tyres, how they're going to save the fuel as best as possible. Whether or not they're going to be able to, that's going to be another question altogether. You know, Clint Altman did say they're going to be very, very close, so we'll keep an eye on how they get on. These guys just jostling around. Stockner again sticking his nose out alongside Clint Altman. Maybe that's not actually to try and overtake, possibly to try and cool that car down. Andrew Burrell has just gone underneath Devon Collicott in that Jim Beam machine, and then Calvin Ross in something of a livery. They're in 12th place.
It's an Adult Swim. I actually have no idea what his livery is. I thought I saw like Happy Friends or something, which I don't know. Oh no, sorry. Oh, okay. So we're on Hunter. So it is an Adult Swim.
Yeah, I was just trying to see, but I don't think Hunter's going to get close enough for me.
I think it's on the front end is where it actually has what it is specifically of his car.
Specifically.
Specifically. So if you look at Collicott, but from his back end, we might be able to see it.
Or Pacifically, if you speak to my wife, because I'm putting S down.
Specifically is not a word.
Yes, but anyway, you want to argue with Allman?
No, I'm good.
Oh, you're a big brave boy on the microphone, but not when it comes to the wife, eh?
Yes.
Yeah, amazing how most men are.
100%.
Yeah, but I'm in the same boat, mate. I am literally in the same boat. Lap 36 here of 75 remaining. Andrew Williams out in front with Alex Witt. Clint Altman in third. Strada's now dropped back down to fourth again. It's weird with Strada at the moment. He seems to be able to stay up there, and then he just sort of teeters off and then comes back again. So I think, you know, can he wrap the win up? That's going to be the question. Can we get somebody breaking up the Orange Wheel Boys?
And that's going to be the trickiest thing. I mean, they've been very strong, and they have, you've got Williams, Halterman, and Stockner are all part of that same team, whereas you have Jakowitz and Witt are part of a team, and I think Strada is a part of the Fast Angry Racing team, so it's a little bit more broken up, whereas the Orange Wheel, they've got 3 guys in the top 6. So it's a little easier for them to kind of work together or sort of plan what they're going to do. And that was something we saw in, I believe it was in Nashville, was Stockner and Williams kind of working together on restarts and things like that, because just the way everything was laid out. Unfortunately, that doesn't always help, but more times than not, it will. So having someone extra to kind of help push you along, or sort of block for you, or help kind of create a little bit of space. We've seen it in multiple racing disciplines, I guess would be the proper word, on how you're able to kind of utilize that to sort of push your way through and push your team through. And I mean, NASCAR is one of the best for it. You go off of manufacturer, not even all the time is it based on teams. It's Toyota's all working together, or in the case of the very interesting Denny Hamel of having to work with both his teammate and the team he owns. I still don't understand how that's allowed, but whatever. And it was brought up I think it was a couple years ago, where they asked him, when it came to trying to push into the playoffs, if he was going to help his teammate or help the team he runs, and he said straight up he would rather help the team he owns than the teammate beside him, which I thought was very interesting for him to say. Not usually something you want to advertise, but whatever, I guess. And and that, I think it was Bubba Wallace and Ty Gibbs were both trying to make it into the playoffs for that season. So and that they're both part of the 1123 race team that Denny Hamlin owns, but he also races for a completely different team with his own teammate. So it was sometimes oval racing is very weird that way, but if you can work with somewhat of a team, it's always a good thing.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? The first rule of racing is generally you want to beat your teammate. Do you know what I mean? Like, you want to beat your teammate. You have to beat your teammate. You want that number one spot. You want all the good bits. You know, look at Verstappen and Perez. You know, Perez probably doesn't get half of what Max gets over the season. You know, and then you can write it into your contract that I'm the number one driver. You know, it's all a bunch of politics at times when you get that far in. But I think that's the thing. You always want to make sure you're beating your teammate first. And the guys at OWR are kind of, Williams and Holtman are the ones that are beating the rest of the boys that are coming in, and you know, they're showing them the way. They're schooling them almost here as well, and it showed over the, what, they got 10 wins, I think it was, on the bounce.
Yeah, they've had an absolutely fantastic sort of run through this season, and it's just been kind of Halterman and Williams sort of doing what they need to do and holding on to their positions. And unfortunately for Witt, he's been not necessarily alone, but he's had the easiest of time, or hasn't had the easiest of times, because he's constantly trying to fight two guys by himself. And it's just it's a little tricky that way. It definitely makes it not the easiest to get through, but he's not, you know, and he's not one to kind of give up as Noel tries to make a move up the inside of Stockner right as I say that.
Yeah, this is what he needs though. I think Noel, you know, confidence issue, maybe seat time, possibly. It's just not where Noel would expect Noel to be, you know, and I think that's the thing. You'd normally expect him running up behind Alex, being Alex's wingman, giving him the help that he needs, and he just hasn't quite been there as Holtman goes past Strada. They swap places. We almost thought about going past Williams, didn't quite get the job done. Jay Millen has just gone underneath Cody Kern. Brandon McLaughlin, I would say he's back out on his high line, but I really don't want to chance that one because he may not be. Andrew Burrell underneath him in 10th place there as well. These guys running that very, very sort of single file-esque line that we're seeing now at Kenton, and no real massive movements alongside that.
Yeah, it's been very, I don't want to say stoic, because there are moves going on, but it's been nothing too crazy, which not surprising. We're on, you know, lap 43, so we're past the halfway mark, but we obviously have some time before we hit the finish line. So it's definitely one of those things where it's people finding their groove and just sort of feeling it out. We're going to have more than likely green flag pit stops at this rate, and it's just going to be kind of an adjustment to see who goes where, who decides to, you know, blink first and get in. And this track, you know, it's one of those ones where like it's hard to say what is best in terms of like overcut or undercut. It's kind of depends how you're able to sort of pull it off. And obviously green flag pit stops we've talked about numerous times, in the sense of getting in, getting your pit stop clean, and going in with a small group so you're not having to slow down for 4, 5, 6 cars ahead of you, and just getting into the pit stop really slow. So we'll see sort of what ends up happening. I would be very surprised if the Orange Wheel Racing guys don't try and go in sort of together. Maybe Jackowitz and Witt try and go in together. Strauder might try and peel in with them, but we'll kind of see how it plays out as this front sort of 5, 6-ish, all kind of fairly close together, actually.
They're not too far away. To be fair, the gap's not horrendous throughout the whole field. You know, you got Ford, Chevy, then Ford before you get to the first Camry. Ian McLaughlin, and even the likes of Andrew Burrell is only literally 3 seconds, if that, away from up front with Andrew Williams, so he's not massively behind. You know, this is all the way down into 10th place here, that are all sitting in a line looking at each other thinking, actually, do you know what, you know, I could get this if I can catch the draft, use the car in front. Why can't you? Look, the leader's just there, he's not very far away. And I think this is the thing with this circuit, it's not no, hold on, let me choose what I'm going to say there. It is an oval, but it's not your traditional it's not one that obviously you can sit back and go full flat, because we know very well you can't. And at the moment, yay. Nearly got joined by Cody Kern. Anything can happen, and I think that's the thing. You've just witnessed it literally there. Anything can happen with this race circuit, and I think that's the thing that these guys are going to have to start looking out for and be a little bit more careful, because, you know, anything can happen at this racetrack, and you've just seen it literally there as well. So for the likes of Andrew Burrell, who might be sitting there thinking, oh, I'm in 10th place, still got the opportunity of taking the win here.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, all it takes is one mistake by someone up in that front group of 3 or 4 that are all really close, almost 5. They're really close together, and you know, one little mistake there, and suddenly 2-3 guys are taken out or sent spinning, and you know, the entire grid can get swapped around pretty quick. Just off of that, as we see, I think that's Jack Wood's trying to make a move actually on Alex Woods. He has gained a couple of positions fairly quickly there. So one small change in how everything is, especially near the front, can open a huge gap and a huge window that can get closed very quickly by the group kind of fighting for, you know, 10th place. Suddenly they're now fighting for 1st or 2nd and things like that. And we've seen weird things happen. I feel like Alex Witt's lost a race or 2 from some very odd circumstances over the year. 3 years we've been here.
Back marker.
But yeah, exactly. So yeah, things happen. It's NASCAR. It's not as straightforward as road racing can be, because you are so close together, you're so tight, and one small mistake of a leader can cause or a back marker in some cases can cause complete incidents. Although it looks like I think that's Thomas Kuhn is in the pits right now as well.
Yeah, he is.
Not sure what happened with him, but
yeah, he's gone in. He just entered the pit lane. There's no specifics on it. Williams now sitting at the front. He's got Holtman tucked in going into turn 1. Strada's there going into 3. Witt's almost a second back at the moment. Stottner's just got to punch the side of the wall as well. That's brought in Noel Jackowitz alongside him at the moment. These guys side by side going down into 3. Brandon McLaughlin, who's kept himself up there, into 6, goes and pushes Jackowitz literally about as close to corner entry as you could possibly get. Contact them with Stottner after, and luckily enough for Brandon McLaughlin, he manages to hold it. That brings Andrew Burrell in, of course, another one from OWR. They're everywhere.
Yeah, they are. They're I'm trying to think of a nice version of like something that's everywhere. Like air, I guess. I was gonna say they're like, you know, bugs, but I was like, that sounds negative, and I'm not trying to be negative. They're just they are everywhere. They have drivers up and down the field, which is fantastic. I think Christian Hill is also a part of them, and you know, which is great. You know, fantastic that they're able to, you know, they have guys all of every sort of area.
Get it back, Brandon. Get it back. Good lad. Do you know the problem is? I was sitting here trying to think of a nice analogy, and there isn't one. You know,
no,
that's the problem. You can sit there and say they're like chicken pox, and you're like, hold on, that's
right.
That's a disease. No, I can't take. You know, that's the thing. They are literally wherever you turn, there is an orange wheel car. However, I am going to have a word with Clint Holtman and Andrew Williams, as they're all part of OWR, and their wheels are not orange. So I'm not happy about that. If either of them two come in, I think Andrews is a very matte orange. Where, Clint's is very matte orange, where Andrews is, well, yellow.
Right, I agree. They need to fix it,
Or
change their thing in the SDK for us, so we just have it in front of us, so we know. Makes life easier for us.
That would be handy, yeah. These four slightly getting a little bit of a breakaway from the guys behind. That's Noel Jackowitz, Burrell, Stottner, and also Andrew Jamelin. Jamelin in there. Trying to push Stottner as well. I think that's the problem. I think Stottner's quite good at making his car as wide as possible here, and I think at the end of the day he's going to have to difficult for Chamberlain to get through.
Yeah, it's he's not Stockner's not making it easy on him. Although Alex Witt looks like he's the first to blink as he is coming into the pit lane. He is hoping to pit early. I'm assuming that's probably because he did come in that couple laps early, and obviously it didn't use as much tire or fuel, but still a little bit. So we'll see. I'm curious how long he's actually going to be in there. He's in the actual pit lane now. Armin Brusso also is in. See what, how long, it looks like Brusso's going to be in there for a little while.
He's only just gone in. He's not in his bay. Now he's only just in his bay. That's a very long pit lane. So
it is very, very long, yes.
Yeah.
So 19 seconds-ish for Witt. So that looks like that's probably tires as well. I think they had 4 sets. Is he going to get out before being lapped?
Yes.
That'll be the biggest thing. And it looks like, yes, he is going to.
There's a few
going to be good.
Diving in. Brown and McLaughlin, Hunter Carlson still in. Brusso obviously took a while to get in. Is now on. He's going to be looking at getting moving here. Williams, Holtman, Strada. What do we reckon? 24 to go. Are we going to get an influx, or are they going to run it until as far as they can run it for?
I'm going to be very curious on this, because obviously the longer you're able to push it, the less fuel you have to put into the car, the lighter your car is, and the faster speeds you can maintain, because you're not carrying as much weight. You know, the fuel does weigh a significant amount. So Witt having come in a little earlier obviously has to fuel up just a little bit more. So these guys are probably going to try and push it as much as they can. I don't know how much longer, and that will answer my question right there as they come in right now.
Together.
So they'll try and kind of cover off Alex Witt's undercut, a little bit of an undercut, and see if they're able to, as Christian Strada trying to push his even further.
So
see if he's going to be able to.
So it's Jack
Stockner and Jamal.
Yeah, Devon Collicott's another one. What about Greg Sherman? Yeah, Rob Sizemore. Yep. I'd be interested to see how far Witt can get and how close he's going to get to these boys. They've just gone up on the jacks. Witt's on his way round.
It's going to be very tight. I think they're coming out.
They're coming out, yeah.
He might actually lose positions off of that.
No, he's got.
I think he's going to.
Andrew Burrell. Did you get Burrell?
No.
Yes.
Barely. So that actually, I think, cost him more than it helped him. Obviously, we do have a few guys that have to come in still, but I think that actually
hindered,
because he's now, that hindered him more, because he's almost 5 seconds behind Halterman and Williams, and he was definitely not that far behind. So I did see him hit a wall during one of those corners, so maybe that slowed him down a little bit. But unfortunately, I don't think the undercut worked out in his favor here.
No, well, we've got 22 laps to go, guys, here, so stay tuned for this one. We're going to see how this battle ends up. Andrew Williams is there with Clint Holtman. These two have been leading for most of the race. Gregory Sherman also in there with Sizemore. I can tell you now, everybody down at Sizemore has not pitted. So the whole of your top 7 currently have not gone into the pits. As I say that, Andrew Jamelin just goes in. But Strada still carrying on here. Is he trying to run it dry, do you reckon?
I don't know if he's necessarily going to run it dry, but he's definitely trying to push with the super lightweight. So where they are, I don't think they would. I think he would actually be able to get in and out before Williams and Halterman are actually able to catch up to him again.
Yeah, because they're going round down the straight.
They just came out of turn 3. Yeah, they just came out of turn 3. He's now out of turn 2, and on that straightaway, like it'll be tight. So you're looking around 50 to 55 seconds if you hit everything correctly.
He's got 54.
Yeah, so he could get in, get out, and be okay. He's just really got to push these next couple laps, or this lap at least, and sort of hope that he can gain a little extra time.
Got to be careful not to lose time, though, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to lose time with worn tires and everything like that. And obviously, he hasn't come in since lap 29, so his tires aren't going to be great. It's a bold strategy for sure, because he has gained I think a little bit of time. Because the last time he was, yeah, they're both. It's about the same. He might. 55. I think he's coming in this lap. Yeah, I think he's coming in this lap if he's going to be smart.
I think utilize the fact that you have got them 55 seconds because you're going to need it down the pit lane. Well, he's not. Maybe he feels he can do more.
Really push everything.
They're running 55s. He's running 56s. He needs to be careful. Needs to be careful. I would. Where is he?
I'd come in this lap at the very least.
Yeah, where is he?
I think they're starting to gain a little bit now. They're now entering 3, whereas last lap he was entering 2 when they entered 3.
And the gap's now.
So I'd come in now at the very latest.
Yeah. Saying it's. Oh, I don't think he's gonna. You know. I don't think he's gonna be able to do this.
I don't think this worked in his favor at all, unless there's.
Unless
his game plan is to try and push all the way. I don't know if he's going to have enough fuel for that, though.
But Jackowitz is still out there. Stopner's still out there. Collicott's still out there. Sizemore's still out there. Everybody in the top 5 is still out on the racetrack. Sizemore in the top 5. Come on, said Wizard. Yeah, buddy. I knew you'd be happy about that. I wondered when you were going to pop up. But yeah, Rob Sizemore is there. There he is. He is the. He's the last one. I know Gregory Sherman is the last one to have pitted. So your top 6 have not pitted, though, mind you, Wizard. Sorry to get you all excited, but he has not pitted. Oh, right. Let's get off, Rob. Yeah, well done, Rob. Good job. I'll be responsible for that.
Very curious on this game plan here.
Do you think they've got enough to get to the end?
I didn't think so, but what do I know?
Nothing.
The answer to that is very, very little.
Yeah, minute. I love you really, but I'm just saying.
I accept it. It's fine.
Okay, cool. But this is the thing. What are these two got to do? They got to try and work together?
Yeah, they would have to and really sort of draft as much as they can on these straightaways to try and gain as much time as they can. And you can see them closing in slowly on Gregory Sherman there, as it looks like Sizemore has now come into the pits.
Sizemore is now. Unfortunately, the Wizard is down in 11th. Sorry, buddy. But he is pitted. 13th. Can't continue to count down. Still not in. Strada's still not in. Jackowitz still not in. Stopner's still not in. Collicott's still not in.
Strada, are these guys just heavy lifting? Like, everybody else has come in except this little group.
Tell you what.
He's staying in 4th gear, which okay, fair. He's pushing it pretty hard. It's not a ridiculous lift. And he's back on the throttle. Yeah, I have no idea how he is still going.
It was the words. The words that Clint Holtman used. Going to be tight on fuel. Didn't say he couldn't.
Because this would be like Jordan Malcolm levels of fuel saving then.
Yeah. He never said he couldn't. He just said it's going to be very, very tight. They're in the car. They've got all the little notifications that tell them how much fuel they've got. So if Strada thinks he can get to the end, or he's going to need a splash at some point, because they're now 29 I believe it's about 29 seconds behind him. They are nearly 30 seconds. Is that going to be long enough to get in and get out?
I don't think so, but and they are also running like 20, or they're running about 2 seconds faster per lap right now. So this key, I mean, obviously the tires are going to fall off at some point, but yeah, I don't know. Stockner coming in now as well. Strada either is massively fuel saved through that first set of the stint, or he's got, I don't even know.
Well, you're going to see the repercussions of what's going to happen, right? Because obviously, from Stockner's point of view now, it will roughly tell us where he's going to be, right? Stockner at the moment.
He's taking 2, yeah, so there's pretty much everybody. He's going to end up 9th, it looks like.
Projected pit out position. If Strada goes in, and I'll say projected, not accurate, he will come out behind Noel Jackowitz.
And yeah, just ahead of Williams, so bold. But I think that's, yeah, I'd be curious.
So nothing definite on that. The timing software can be out, so don't get excited. But I'm just saying, if he goes in, you can see the P on the track map on the right hand side. That's his projected pit out position. It will obviously work out averages and all this other fancy mathematical jazz. So it's not a definite that he will be able to be where he is at the moment, but that could give us a rough idea that he might be able to get out in front of him.
Very curious. Like I said, either he has saved like crazy through that first half of that stint, or he is hoping and praying for a safety car at this point. As we see the 52, I think that's Trenton Kimmel going past him.
Trenton's got
he's running 57s.
Yeah, he's got a new livery.
Yeah, the A&W. I like it.
That's good.
It's nice. I like A&W. Fantastic burgers.
Last time out, 56.9, 55.1.
So he's still about 2 seconds back.
Ooh, dramatic.
It is. This is that final race that, and for those who weren't there, Jordan Malcolm fuel saved like insane levels to the point where he crossed the finish line and had no fuel.
Nothing.
It was nothing left. Like he couldn't do donuts. Barely. Like I think he ran out of fuel about a half second past the finish line.
Yeah. If that, wasn't it? It was literally didn't even have enough room to spin the car around and do a donut. I think somebody was trying to push him round, if I remember correctly. Okay, this now 24 seconds. Christian Strada.
Yeah.
11
to go. Almost 10 to go as he's actually almost around turn 3 here. These guys are in the middle of turn, just coming out of turn 1. He's exiting turn 3. If he's able to pull this off, this might be the boldest move I think we've seen in a few seasons.
Oh. What's that?
Collicott almost take out Collicott.
Yeah, that was... It was like he had a problem or just braked a little bit harder than he needed to be there. That's the front of Calvin Ross's machine. That's the back end of our wide runner of Brandon McLaughlin. You can say it this time because he's pretty laid up almost, you know what I mean? Love to have it.
We got a little quicker. He's now 55.5, so he was only 1 second off of what Williams and Clint are doing.
Yeah, 56.5, 55.4.
Yeah.
So, 9 to go. Can he hold it?
I think he does actually also hold the fastest lap of the race so far at a 54.5. Based on that, if that's what he's doing, he's probably actually lifting coasting pretty solidly if he's about 2 seconds off what he's done. It just, yeah, I don't
Getting
know.
closer. The P is getting closer to Mr. Williams. Noel Jackowitz is on the same boat, mind you.
Yeah, Noel is
he's going for it
he's
as
also
well.
doing very similar ideas.
Well, don't go anywhere, guys, because this is going to be a very, very interesting evening or ending. Christian Hill's on, I think it's back on the lead lap now as well. Great job from him. Oh, no, he's not, unfortunately. Been plodding along quite happily. You know, Cody Kern there, Andrew Chamberlain as well, down towards the back end of this field. Rob Sizemore Wizard is now in 14th. I apologise. So for that one, bringing you bad news. Brandon McLaughlin in the 9th place at the moment. Devon Collicott and Calvin Ross. Nick Stottner unfortunately dropped back there. Lost out big on the pit stop. 61, lap 61 he went in and is now unfortunately down in 11th place. Alex Witt and Hunter Carlson have been near enough on top of each other with Andrew Burrell in there. And the question is whether or not Strada's got enough to last these 8 laps.
The other guy that I didn't even realize he hasn't pit yet either is Collicott. Devon Collicott hasn't pit since lap 29 either.
So why is he so far back?
I think he needed to have, and at this point he can't. Or he's massively trying to fuel save to make it through at this point. Oh,
yeah.
That is huge lifting coast. He's actually clutching.
Clutch it in.
Yeah, he's clutching in huge there.
I wonder what his dial's on. When is he clutching in from? That's the question. How far into the corner? Whoa!
Oh,
He's not even in the corner.
no, he's gonna have some problems, I think.
Yeah. What about? Oh, here we go.
I don't think this is gonna go well. As there goes Noel right by him.
They're coming round free.
Yeah, I think he's gonna come in. My guess is he honestly comes out around Carlson.
Yep. Because they're coming past
if not
him now.
later than that.
Yep. There they go. Projection. I told you it was just a projection. Oh, he missed his box.
He drops 4th, and he missed the pit box. Yeah, so that's going to be. He's now going to come out near Burrell and.
Yeah.
Sorry, not Burrell. McLaughlin. If not, get passed by them. Yeah.
Yeah, as Calvin Ross is going to go through, I think, on Strada. Oh. Oh, don't yellow him up now.
That almost would have helped him.
Strada all the way down in 10th. He's got 6 to go. What's this man on? Well, he's in the pit lane. Oh, stop it, Noel. Oh. They tried something, and I think before they had time to not commit, before they could change their mind, they were already committed. The problem is that committed didn't work out so well. And I don't think, unless Strada's going to do, I don't know, super nitrous oxide powered laps, he's nowhere near going to get anywhere near them at the front.
Yeah, I got an unfortunate feeling even on like super fresh tires, which I don't think he even took tires. No, he just did a splash and dash, so it's not even like he has fresher tires. I think unfortunately for him, it did not work.
No. Do you think he was too long into the commitment before he had a chance to change his mind?
Yeah, I think it was one of those things where, unfortunately, you have to kind of commit to it until you can't. And if you're going to try and do that, you can't sort of commit to it and then not. It's one of those things you have to fully commit until you know you cannot do it, and I think that's what unfortunately happened there.
Yeah. Stotner's found his way back up into 6th place. Alex Witt still sitting in 4th alongside Hunter Carlson here as well for his 3rd place. Carlson trying to hold that inside line. Witt's trying to go on the outside. The 594 and the green Krispy Kreme is there over the 32 Camry of Mr. Carlson coming into turn 2 now. Carlson's going to run it in deep. Almost contact with Alex Witt there. Very, very close from Hunter Carlson and Alex Witt.
Yeah, they got nice and snugly as Hunter Burrell is also... Andrew Burrell also trying to get involved. Sorry, Hunter Carlson right there. Yeah, it's just, one of those things. Andrew Burrell trying to get involved as well as Alex Witt makes his way more or less cleanly by. And they head there through the long straightaway into turn 1.
Yeah, Alex Witt, Hunter Carlson, Andrew Burrell, Williams and Holtman have just swapped places. Whether or not that was on purpose or they are now racing as they're coming down into turn 2, going out of 2. Coming into 3, Holtman's going to try and under as well. The 2 teammates running side by side. The 95 of Andrew Williams, 22 of Clint Holtman coming through 3. Oh, the worst thing they could do is take each other out. That would be absolutely horrendous with 2 to go.
Yeah, it's definitely not what you want if you're Orange Wheel with a fairly significant lead to take each other out in the last couple laps before you head into the final. But I got an interesting feeling these two aren't going to let this one go very easily, and both are going to want the win going into the finish line here.
Yeah, and at the moment it's Williams that's got that lead spot. Is Holtman going to let him have it? That's going to be the question. Because at the moment, Williams has got it coming out of turn 2, coming into 3 very, very shortly. And then it will be the final lap of the race. Oh. Got very quick this evening.
It has. It's been, especially compared to last time we were at Pocono, where I think we had 15 cautions.
Something crazy.
Yeah. So this is nice. Very, very easy and relaxing.
Yeah. Final lap now as well of the tricky triangle. And Andrew Williams, Clint Holtman. Surely Clint's not going to... not going to... Hunter Carlson, still in 4th place.
Him and Witt were battling it out for a second there. Carlson did get ahead of him, but it looks like Burrell is actually going to pass him now as well.
Coming into the final corner, Hunter Carlson. Andrew Williams, Clint Holtman. It looks like Williams is going to wrap it up at the tricky triangle. 75 laps down. Williams takes the victory over Clint Holtman there. Alex Witt, is he going to wrap up 3rd? It looks like he is. Hunter Carlson, Andrew Burrell finishing up in 4th and 5th. Great job from these guys as well. And there goes Nick Stotner over the line in 6th with Brandon McLaughlin. Calvin Ross is coming over the line. Christian Strada finds himself down in 9th in the end. Noel Jackowitz down in 10th. Ouch. As you say, committed to a strategy, just couldn't quite get it to work, I guess, would be the easiest thing.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where it's unfortunately you have to full commit to it, otherwise you will never make that. And if you full commit to it and it doesn't work, you're hooped, because it's gonna drop you pretty far down the order there very quickly.
I agree. Let's bring you up the race results here as well. Andrew Williams is your winner from the OWR. Orange Wheel Racing, Clint Altman there in second, Alex Witt in third, Hunter Carlson fourth, Andrew Burrell in fifth, with Nick Stockler in sixth, and Brandon McLaughlin in seventh. Then you've got Calvin Ross, Christian Strider, Noel Jackowitz rounded out the top 10 respectively on that one. Then behind that, you're Devon Collicott, Trenton Kimmel, Anthony Radel, Rob Sizemore, Andrew Jamelin, Cody Kern, Armin Brusso, and Christian Hill. From there, you've got Greg Sherman and Tom Coons. So a great bit of action. The Orange Wheel Boys doing their customary donuts from Clint Altman. Andrew Williams has done his. Stockner's doing lots. Where's Andrew Burrell? Oh, he's got it going. Go on, son. And then Rob Sizemore still chundering around. So great bit of action from them guys. And I am going to pick up with the man that took the victory here as well, Mr. Andrew Williams, battling all the way through. Believe it or not, that is 11 wins in a row for the OWR Orange Wheel Racing Boys. Mr. Williams, welcome in.
Well, happy to be here.
How was it out there, sir?
Man, it was so much fun. Pocono always delivers because you can't really get away from anybody, so it's always really tight racing, really tight battles.
11 on the bounce for the boys from Orange Wheel.
Yeah, man, we're on a roll. I think we knew once we pulled Clint in from a different league, we knew Clint was going to be fast. We knew that I was getting faster. So we really thought, me and Clint working together would be able to pick up a lot of wins here, but we never expected 11 in a row. That's been a unreal level of success. Yeah,
well, you've both got 5 wins out of 5, and Matthew Norberg got the 11th one. So a nice even split. Listen, I got a question for you. Something's been aggravating me. Just tell me what your team name is again.
Orange Wheel Racing.
So why the hell have you got yellow wheels on that car?
It was going to be a one-off to fit the Chick Hicks scheme. I probably should change it back to orange. I don't think orange looks well with this car. Really, the whole name for Orange Wheels came from all of our Clemson-themed cars, because most of us have gone to Clemson University, or are fans of the school. But I don't know. We'll probably switch it back. I think I'm going to bring the Tiger car back for these last couple races. I think Chick Hicks has lived his time in the sun.
I do agree. I don't think Kenton agrees with you on the schooling, by the way.
Well.
No, I have no issue. Sorry, I was breathing.
I was breathing. Oh, right, okay. There. Where do you see it? What do you think the championship's going to be? Because at the moment, obviously, it's you and Clint at the front. Are you going to let Clint have this? Or are you going to fight him?
No, absolutely not. Right, I'm running him to the end.
Just asking. Team orders and all that.
No. Definitely no team orders between me and Clint there. He about killed me on the last corner. So no, we're racing to the end. Unfortunately, I've got a work trip the week of Michigan, so I think that might end up being the deciding factor in this title. But Clint's a really fast guy and a really clean racer, and I'm proud that I've given him a legit title fight. Good. So yeah, we're gonna keep running. No more road courses left, so I think I can keep stacking up trophies, and maybe I'll pull enough of a gap to where missing Michigan won't matter.
Okay, mate. Well, confident words there. Andrew, well done before you win here, buddy. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Of course, I want to give a huge shout out to all my Orange Wheel Racing guys. We've been showing up week after week. We keep getting faster and keep winning. So it's a group effort, and I love every one of them for coming here and doing this.
Awesome stuff. Thank you very much, young sir. I look forward to seeing you next week.
Yep. Thank you.
Right, next up in the booth is Mr. Holterman. Took the stage win. He finished second there, coming towards the end of the race. Clint, welcome in, buddy. Well done, second place.
Yeah, hoping for one spot more, but it is what it is.
Well, are you happy? You don't sound happy, Clint.
What they say, second sucks. If you ain't first, you're last. But I have to. Yeah, I'm not sure what the points look like. I know got more stage points and got the pole, so I got a little bit more points. And me and Drew in our tight championship battle. So was kind of what we wanted. We wanted to do the strategy, so it was a race between ourselves. I was just a little. I think I waited too long. I was trying to just stay behind him and push him until everyone pitted. So I made sure that I wanted it to be a battle between us because I think we both knew that we were probably the two fastest cars, and we just wanted to make sure we could just settle that between ourselves, kind of like sort of like Auto Club, though I think we had someone else up there as well. But yeah, it's like I got such a terrible exit off of turn 1. On the last lap, I was better than it. I could get off turn 2 a lot better than Drew the whole race, and I was just too far back then because of how bad my turn 1 was. Where, I mean, I tried to move into turn 3, but it was never really going to happen. He left the door open just enough, and yeah, I'm just kind of mad at myself that I think I waited a little too long. When I took the lead, I didn't really know what clean air would feel like because I'd been riding behind him for a long time, and just got really tight and then lost the lead again and got a terrible exit after turn 1. So it's like I feel like I could have won the race, but I've taken a couple off of Drew in various races we've done, so I guess it's only fair he gets one off me.
Well, it's 5 out of... Basically, you've got 5 wins, he's got 5 wins, and the whole Orange Wheel Racing are on 11 wins in a row, with Matthew Norberg making the 11th.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible, honestly. It hasn't been easy. There's been a lot of close races, but Drew has really been stepped up his game. It's made me go faster as well. Hoping, I don't think the other guys like to see it, because, but I'm hoping it keeps up. But there's been some tough challenges. Strader and Witt were really fast. I think we were easily the top 4 there. Not sure what happened to Witt, though. He pitted like a lap or 2 before Drew and I, and he came up like 5 seconds behind us. So I thought it was going to be like a 3-car battle when he pitted, because Drew and I were committed to pitting on like lap 52, lap 53 or something like that. And I think Strader, I think he was just trying to hope for a caution or something like that. But he probably should have just pitted with us. He had the pace.
Yeah.
Could have been a 4-car battle, and then who knows, a 4-car battle, us all battling could have brought in more people. But yeah, it worked out well for Drew and I. We wanted to, like I said, settle it between ourselves. But yeah, I'm hoping to keep the win streak going, but it's gonna be tough from here on out to keep that up.
Yeah, I do fully agree with you on the Strada situation. Well, Clint, thanks so much for joining us there, bud. Anyone you want to shout out before I let you go?
Yeah, just shout out the Orange Wheel Racing guys. Of course, Burrow got to top 5. Might be his best finish of the season. Not 100% sure, so that's cool to see. And yeah, shout out Drew, of course. Worked really well together, and it's like one of the most respectful guys on the service to race against. He's always going to be clean. So it's always fun to race against him. Feels like it happens every week now. But yeah, and then shout out to y'all for putting on the race.
Awesome stuff. Well, thank you very much, young sir. And we'll look forward to seeing you next week.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Take care. Well, there you go, Kenton. Another one done, and another one down, and not very many left to go.
Yeah, we're getting definitely close to the end of all of this, and fantastic driving all around. I'm excited to see how Chicago Speedway goes.
Yeah.
Or Indianapolis, actually. Sorry, Indianapolis is next week.
Yeah, Indianapolis Oval. Right, guys, that's going to wrap it up here this evening as well. Thank you so much for joining me. That is now 12 in a row from the boys from Orange. No, 11, didn't it? It is 11. Yeah, sorry. I'm going to do my quick maths there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. Yeah, 11 in a row. Now for the boys from Orange Wheel Racing, that's 5 for Andrew Williams, 5 for Clint Altman, and 1 for Matthew Norberg. You're going to have to tune in next week at Indianapolis to see if anybody's going to stop these guys, or whether or not Andrew Williams is actually going to have orange wheels on his car. But I've been James Parfitt. I've been alongside Kenton Sportak, and as always, guys, take care. Have a great week, and you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.